enforcement of basic rules fell apart. Net migration more than quadrupled in just 4 years to a record high of nearly 1 million people, and it is still more than 3 times higher than in 2019. Dangerous small boat crossings rose from 300 people in 2018 to an average of over 36,000 a year in the last 3 years, a 120-fold increase. And in just a few short years, an entire criminal smuggler industry built around boat crossings has been allowed to take hold along the UK border. The cost of the asylum system has also quadrupled to £4 billion last year. In 2019, there were no asylum hotels. 5 years on, there are more than 200. Returns of those with no right to be here are 30% lower than in 2010. Asylum-related returns are down by 20% compared to 14 years ago. And that is the legacy that we inherited from the previous government, one that former ministers have themselves admitted to be shameful. We should be clear, Madam Deputy Speaker, this country has always supported people coming here from abroad to work, to study, or be protected from persecution. That has made us the country we are, from the Windrush generation to the Kinder transport, from international medics working in our NHS, to the families we have supported from Ukraine. But that is exactly why the immigration and asylum systems have to be properly controlled and managed, so they support our economy, promote community cohesion with rules properly respected and enforced, and our borders kept strong and secure. None of those things have been happening for the last 5 years, and the scale of failure and loss of control has badly undermined trust in the entire system, and it will take time to turn things round. So let me turn to the changes that are needed in 3 areas. First, on legal migration. Recent years have seen what the ONS calls a large increase in both work-related and study-related immigration following the end of travel restrictions and the introduction of the new immigration system after the UK left the EU. Conservative government reforms in 2021 made it much easier to recruit from abroad, including a 20% wage discount for overseas workers. At the same time, training here in the UK was cut, with 55,000 fewer apprenticeship starts than 5 years ago, and the number of UK residents not working or studying hit a record high of over 8 million. This was an experiment gone badly wrong, built on a careless free market approach, which literally incentivised employers to recruit from abroad rather than train or tackle workforce problems here at home. Madam Deputy Speaker, this government is clear that net migration must come down. We're continuing with the visa controls belatedly introduced by the previous government, including the higher salary threshold, the 20% discount and the restrictions on dependent visas for students and care workers. But we must go further to restore order and credibility to the system. Since the election, we've set out new plans to ban rogue employers who breach employment laws from sponsoring overseas workers. We've reversed the previous Conservative decision to remove visa requirements from a number of countries where large numbers of people arriving as visitors were entering the UK asylum system instead, and we're reviewing visas further to prevent misuse. But we also need to overhaul the dysfunctional UK labour market that we inherited, including bringing together the work of the Migration Advisory Committee, Skills England, DWP, the new Industrial Strategy Council, to identify areas where the economy has become over-reliant on overseas recruitment and where new action will be needed to boost training and support. And that work will be at the heart of our new white paper, showing how net migration must and will come down as we set out new ways to link the points-based system with new requirements for training here in Britain. Let me turn to the asylum system. Last week's figures showed how the previous government crashed the asylum system in the run-up to the election. In their last 6 months in office, asylum decisions dropped by 75% and asylum interviews dropped by over 80%. So only a few hundred decisions were being taken a week instead of thousands. Caseworkers were deployed elsewhere and the backlog shot up. We've had to spend the summer repairing that damage, getting caseworkers back in place, restoring interviews and decisions, and substantially boosting returns.